Hey, young biologists. Today is going to be all about pedigrees again. And to get us warmed up, I figured that we could do one of the practice pedigrees together. So, turn your packet to page 38 and let's attack this guy right here. All right, the rules tell us that this pedigree is a family tree of guinea pigs, and we're following the trait of fur type. You can have smooth fur, which is dominant, or spiky fur, which is recessive. And this question asks us to fill in the genotypes on this pedigree. Remember, genotypes are the combination of two letters, and so we're trying to figure that out for each one of these individuals on the pedigree. Now, yesterday we talked about a set of rules that we could use to help us out with this process. So let's put those up on the screen. All right, there we go. Actually, looks like it's in a little bit of a different order, but it'll get us to the same place. So step one, write little a for each shaded symbol. So anytime there's shaded, that's an indicator that we're looking at the recessive phenotype, which is in this case, spiky fur. All right, let's do that. So little a is in every single shaded spot here. And now we're ready to go on to the next step. It says write one big A for each unshaded. So the big A ones are the ones that, or the unshaded ones, are the ones that have smooth fur. Now you can have smooth fur with big A, or big A, little a, and we're not sure. We just know that these, by looking at them, have smooth fur. So we can only for sure write that they have one big A. So let's do that. All right, now all of these have one big A. All of the unshadeds have one big A. All of the shadeds have two little a's. And now we're going to fill in as many of these unknowns as possible using these two rules over here. The first rule is little a parents must give a little a to each child. So, for example, this little a dad can only give for his genetic contribution to his offspring a little a. So this dad would have to give a little a to his son, a little a to his daughter, and a little a to this daughter as well. And we can do that for every other little a parent on here. So I drew some arrows here to show us how those little a parents are giving little a's to their offspring. Then we can fill in those blanks for little a's. And I put them in here as blue so that we can easily see where those were filled in. All right, so this is where we are now. And we're ready to move on to our last stage, which it says little a offspring must get a little a from each parent. So what is that all about, and what does that mean? Well, if we look at a child, we might be able to kind of move backwards and fill in for parents. And I see one place where that can help us. Right here. This son, guinea pig of these two guinea pigs, has little a. We see that one of those could come from the mom, but the other one would have to come from the dad. So what that means is that the dad has to be big A, little a. So we can fill that in. All right, now we still have a couple of blanks right here. So what do we do with that? Well, we can't really use any of these two rules to help us. And the truth is that sometimes you just don't know. You can look at this guinea pig and see that it would have spiky fur, but you're still not sure based on the information you have, whether it's big A, or big A, little a, and that's okay sometimes. So in those instances, we could just leave it blank next to the big A, or we could put a question mark. In this case, I just put question marks for each one, and now we're done solving this pedigree. Now, in the pedigree practice that you're doing today, you're going to have to fill in pedigrees like this, but you're also going to have to answer questions once you get the pedigree filled in. And so I wrote some questions for this pedigree so we could do some practice. So let's check out these questions right here. Part A was fill in the genotypes for all of the individuals. We did that as best we could, and there were 3 that we couldn't predict, and that's okay. The next question is, how many generations are shown? And generations are like you are a generation, and your parents are the generation before you, and your grandparents are the generation before that, and your great-grandparents are the generation before that, and so on. And so when we look at this, we can see that here are the newest generation of guinea pigs. These are their guinea pig parents, and these are the guinea pig grandparents. So how many generations are there? There's 3 generations of guinea pigs shown here. Our next question is, what is the gender of individual 3-14? Now, a lot of times, a pedigree will have Roman numerals to indicate the generation. This Roman numeral will tell us generation 3, so generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, and individual 14 is this one right here. And it asks us, what is the gender? Now, you just have to remember that squares are males and circles are females. And then you see that this one is a female. Our next question, does 2-9 have smooth fur? 1, 2, 9, this one. So does it have a smooth fur? Well, it's an open square, so that means it's dominant and it has smooth fur. So yes, it has smooth fur because it's unshaded, and we know its genotype as big A, little a. The next one is, what is the genotype of 1-3? And for this one, we have the answer. You just have to remember what genotype means. Genotype is the combination of 2 letters or 2 genes that an organism has. So this genotype of this guy is big A, little a, or heterozygous. The last question, how many offspring do 1-1 and 1-2 have? Well, let's see. For that, we just have to follow their child line and see how many individuals are connected to them in this way. So they've got 3 offspring. Now, this one can be a little bit tricky because you just want to make sure that you're counting the organisms that are connected. Now, this generation has a lot of individuals in it, but the only 3 that are connected are right here to this one. This couple of guinea pigs also had 3 offspring, 1, 2, 3, and you can see that this one isn't connected. So we don't know anything about the parents of individual 11. Likewise, we don't know anything about the parents of individual 5. But we know that this one is not the offspring of those, this one's not the offspring of that one. All right, I hope this Bellwork acts as a good springboard to get you started. Remember, if you have any problems as you're going through, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to reach out to another classmate. You can do this, but just a matter of digging in and getting some practice. I believe in you guys. Miss ya.